are you giving away so much money with these coupons, which we get a couple of thousand redemptions on a Sunday? Do the math, guys. Couple of thousand redemptions times $30. We're giving away a ton of service here. Some of the handicappers, you can get a handicapper's play today for as cheap as like $4.95 if you use that $30 redemption coupon. But we do it because we believe in PickNation.com. We believe we're the honest and legit entity out there for you to get your gambling needs and your winners, and that we have the best core group of handicappers. Something that we've mentioned before on the show. You know, we have 13 handicappers at PickNation.com. They're not the same 13 handicappers that there were last year. Believe me, if guys don't produce, out of here. We fire them. We find somebody else. No guarantees that everybody wins in gambling, but we're looking for somebody that over the long haul can consistently turn a profit.
It has to be an opinion that we ultimately respect. We're in this business 15, 20 years. We know the difference between someone who's lucky and someone who's good. If you're not good, you just don't stay. At the end of the day, we're only going to put out a product that wins. That's what our customers are depending on from us. If we can't do that, we wouldn't be in business for the last 6 years.
Exactly, and we are a 100% online business, guys. PickNation.com. No phone rooms, no salesmen, no hassles, no recorded messages, no 900 numbers. What you see is what you get. Total transparency, PickNation.com. When we win, you'll see the winner touted on the page. When we lose, you'll see the same loser touted in the same size print on the page. That's the great thing. So whatever you see happen today, Monday, guaranteed, you're going to see on the homepage of that handicapper whether he won or he lost.
And so important. So if you came in last week and you heard the show and you took advantage of the All Access Pass and got everybody for free, you can come right back this week. It doesn't matter. Use the coupon code and now take $30 off that same All Access Pass or anybody's play on the site. Somebody say, well, what happens if a pick is only $30? Well, then you get it for free. You know, that's how it works. You know, so, and why do we give it away for free? Just like you said, you know, what we do that's different than any other company is we bring the people in, we pull back the curtain, we let them see what we're doing because we're confident that after they see that, they're going to know that we're the real deal, that we're unlike any other company. They wind up becoming our customers for life, and everybody wins.
Guys, and if you missed any portion of today's show, especially the first 30 minutes, or if you want to rewatch the show in its entirety at your convenience, remember, you can catch it at PickNation.com at any time. That's PickNation.com. Steve, let's turn to another game here that no one has talked about here. You know, the Buffalo Bills, I mean, you talk about a hard luck team. You know, consecutive overtime losses on the road to Baltimore and Kansas City. Then last week it finally looked like they were going to break into the winning column, and then the Bears come back and get the 3-point win. Now, that game was in Toronto. Called a home game, but in reality, they've been on the road for 3 straight weeks.
Right.
Now they're back home against.
Well, they've showed they can't win anywhere. They can't win at home. They can't win on the road. They can't win in Toronto. Maybe they should play the next game in Seattle or something. Who knows?
Right, and this is not obviously a marquee game, but I think it's a very bettable game, and I think this might be a spot to finally take the Bills because Detroit, of course, Matt Stafford out, maybe, you know, who knows, maybe for the entire season. Right. They are a different team when he's in the lineup. They produce offensively. I know Shaun Hill had his moments earlier this year. Drew Stanton had one good half in one of the games earlier this year. But, you know, the Bills, they're most susceptible at stopping the run. They cannot stop the run. Lions don't run the ball that well. Right. And the Lions on the road, and the Lions, of course, had the Jets, had them at home in their grasp, and they lose in overtime.
Yeah, and I agree. And to me, I look at this game, and first of all, I can't bet Detroit without Stafford. Obviously not. Can't bet Buffalo because they just refuse to win. 43 points, you know, I think it's going to be a lackluster game. I think this game is going way under the total. I think this is a spot, you know, where you use an under and just don't even watch this game. Just get the score at the end. You should win it.
And it's really scary. You know, some people you hear talking this week about they like the Lions in the spot, and I'm going, well, Matt Stafford's not playing. Right. And you really like the Lions as a 3-point road dog, a team that's lost 24 straight games on the road? I mean, you know, give me 12 and maybe I'll think about it. I don't care that they're 7-1 against the spread because we know the law of averages always evens out. And the Lions are not going to continue at this point spread covering pace in the second half of the season. It just doesn't work that way.
That's correct.
It's like guys in baseball, you know, they win 14, 15 games in the first half, and suddenly you hear the inevitable, hey, first guy since Denny McClain to win 30 games. And then, you know, like Jimenez from Colorado Rockies this year, 15-1 start. He's going to win 30, ends up with 18 wins. Yeah. You know, that's how it goes. I mean, the law of averages always equal out. Gambling as well.
And there's a reason why historically, you know, things are 50-50 in the gambling business. The lines are just that good, and when you have to make that decision, it's very hard. However, that's what makes the rating so important for our handicappers. A guy could be 50-50 for us, and he could be our top handicapper. And the reason is because, well, if he wins all his 100-dime plays and loses all his small plays, that's the handicapper you want in your pocket. That's the guy who really knows when to come big, whose opinion, he really understands his own opinion. And as a handicapper, that's as important as picking the right games.
Yeah, winning percentage means absolutely nothing. It's the biggest misconception out there. All the radio interviews and TV shows I do, guys always say, well, what's your winning percentage this year? And gamblers send in emails to customer service asking, who's the winningest handicapper, win-loss-wise? Right. It means nothing. You can be 35 and 55 and still be the winningest handicapper at the site, because the big plays, which is part of money management and bankroll allocation, that's what makes the difference, because it's our way of letting you know how much we love a game. Your Baltimore crew last week had a 50-dime play. They were coming off a 25-dime play a week earlier, so it's twice as strong as the winner they had a week earlier. It was the Jets and Lions over. But more importantly, those 50-dime plays over 4 years, they had won 10 out of 14 going into that 50-dimer. Now it's 11 out of 15. So that should tell you why the ratings are so important.
Yeah, and we always say it all the time. In this business, records went out with the Beatles. The only thing that matters, is how much money you have in your pocket from gambling. That's what matters.
Exactly. Another game let's talk about here, not a marquee game again. Earlier in the show mentioned that today 7 of the 12 games have lines of 3 points or less. This is one of the bigger ones. You've got Tampa Bay. Came back for the point spread cover at Atlanta
Almost
last
won
week.
The game,
yeah, exactly. Now they're back at home, laying about a touchdown to just an absolutely decimated Carolina team, averaging 11 points a game this year. Injuries galore, quarterback dilemma. Matt Moore, who wasn't exactly lighting up the NFL anyway, is now out. Last week they played Clausen and Tony Pike, both their rookies out of Notre Dame and Cincinnati, respectively. But is this too big of a number now for Tampa Bay to cover in this spot? Are they good enough?
We've been talking about Tampa Bay on the show for the last 4 weeks, calling them out as a dangerous team, because we always felt that, they thought they were a lot better than they really were, and they played that way. I think at this point we have to call them a good team. They are a solid team. And Carolina, they're only really bad, Al, at 2 positions: offense and defense. So I think this is a game that, good team against the bad team. Tampa Bay covers easily.
It's interesting that Tampa Bay's 4 of their 5 wins this year have been by 3 points or less. The only double-digit win they have was, of course, the 27 road win they had against Carolina earlier this year. But Raheem Morris, and granted, last year the Bucs were not very good, and this is still a young team. But during the Raheem Morris coaching tenure, the past 2 years, the Bucs are 1-10-1 against the spread. So, this might be a game actually to think about in terms of a teaser, where you might want to take Tampa Bay down to -1, hook them up with, I think, a team that is not going to lose, Indianapolis, right, -1 at home against Cincinnati.
That's a good teaser.
Yeah, that's the way I would play it. Last week, I think the teaser I gave you on the show was Atlanta, pick them at home against Tampa Bay, along with the Giants over Seattle. That covered by about 140 points as well. Another game that we can talk about today, one I know that you have a particularly strong opinion about, one that I don't really have a sense of what's going to go on here. Kansas City and Denver. You got a Chiefs team that's coming off an overtime loss to the Oakland Raiders. I liked the Raiders last week, and that is a clear example of how sometimes these computer trends,
right,
all mumbo jumbo. Oh, the Chiefs have won 7 straight games at the Oakland Coliseum. The road team has covered 14 of the last 15 in the series. Well, guess what? The computer wasn't playing the game. I told you the Oakland Raiders were going to win the game. You doubted me when they were losing most of the game, but they win it in overtime 23-20. Now,
the Raiders really took that game, literally right out of the hands of KC.
And that's the thing. Can they, and remember the week prior, they needed overtime to beat a bad Buffalo team. So my question to you in a game that I can't really decipher here, can they rebound at Denver, a Broncos team coming off a bye? Because remember, 2 weeks ago in London, they tortured the poor souls of England by blowing a big lead and losing to the 49ers.
I agree that we don't know which Kansas City team is going to show up, and we really don't know just how good they are. They seem very good. But one thing we do know is how bad Denver is. This Denver team is a bad team, and very rarely, like we talked about earlier in the show, do you get a chance to bet on a good team against a team that you know is bad at a virtual pick'em.